Because today's show is brought to you by Manscaped, the leaders in below the waistline grooming. And Deke, ball security is key. We know that we got a ton of new prospects coming up because the draft is happening soon, and they're going to need to make sure that their balls are secure as well. And that is what Manscaped does for you and the crew and everybody included in between that thing, man. So it's pretty simple. What you do, you get that Lawnmower 4.0, you turn the light on, because I like to operate with the light on, like how we doing here when we're recording, okay? And you take it low and slow. But then when you're done with that and you trim that, grass low so the tree can show a little bit more, they will be calling you a cool nickname like your nickname. You want to tell me your nickname again?
Which one?
Which one? I mean, I've been seeing someone in the chat. They've been calling you Daddy.
Well, I guess for Manscaped purposes to keep the commercials and ads consistent, Deke Daddy, right?
That's what they call
dropped
you.
That before.
That's what they call you. They call you Deke Daddy.
Yeah, they have called me that before.
So it's pretty
especially
simple.
down at the wedding. I mean, my wedding attire, my wedding performance was brought to you by Manscaped.
Mac Daddy.
That's what they were like. They were like, not only do you look sharp, you smell pretty good too. What is that, Manscaped? And I was like,
get it.
I did this. I did the Jordan shrug.
I like it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is pretty simple. What you need to do is use the promo code MOATS so you can get your 20% off at manscaped.com along with free shipping worldwide. And I can assure you, my friends, that not just you, but your delicate twins and whoever is privileged enough to interact with those delicate twins will be thanking you as well. This was the first title fight, man, and I was excited about this, man.
Controversy.
Yeah, man, because this is Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. So Aljamain at the time was the UFC bantamweight champion, and then Petr was the interim champion. Little backstory: they had fought before. The fight was kind of, 50-50. Yan was about to take over. Yan hits him with an illegal knee. Aljamain goes down. Some people say he was acting. Others say he was really hurt. But I'm like, you take a knee to the head. Who am I to tell you that guy's not really hurt or not? All right. It's a knee to the head. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. But people were really upset about that and everything like that. But this was their rematch, right? And to me, man, I enjoyed this fight. I get the controversy because I do feel like it was 2-2. I feel like it was clear. I feel like the second and third round, without a doubt, Aljamain won. I thought fourth and fifth round, without a doubt, Petr Yan won. The first round is the question, because you get Yan, who was constantly moving forward, but he was not hitting. He was not striking. He was just walking forward. And you got Aljo, who was hitting him, but he wasn't doing anything of significance, no real damage. So it's like, what do you like? How do you weigh that? Do you weigh the guy that just kept walking forward and get hit, or do you weigh the guy? Do you put a little bit more weight in the guy that was side kicking and using his speed and footwork to get out of danger? It just depends on how you look at that. I leaned to I want to see the actual guy hitting, not just walking forward, because there's plenty of zombies. Little foreshadow right there for the Korean zombie where you just keep walking forward and getting blasted. That's cool, but I don't applaud guys just walking forward and getting hit. So that's why for me, I was like, I don't mind giving that first round Aljo because he was at least kicking and striking. But, not everybody agrees with that. And that's why it was so much controversy around it. But man, I enjoyed watching Aljo do what Khabib does to people in terms of he took that man down and he literally could not get up. If it wasn't for the bell, he would still be down there getting choked out right now. And that's why for me, I was like, I really enjoy seeing that part. But Yan was tough though, man. Yan's a dog in his own right, man.
Do you think Sterling did enough on those takedowns? Because I think some people are saying like Yan did a really good job of deflecting that and defending while they were down.
Right. Well, so this is the thing. So to me, you're defending submissions, sure. But at the same time, you couldn't get up.
He could not. I mean, they just kind of stayed there.
So it's like, am I going to fault the guy for controlling this man? That's literally what Khabib did. Khabib Nurmagomedov made a career of holding guys down, grown men down, and they could not get up. And he is going to be a UFC Hall of Famer. I think he is a UFC Hall of Famer. Excuse me. He got inducted earlier this year. It's like, we applauded that, but because it's Aljo and because a lot of people wanted Yan to beat him because of how the first fight ended, it was like, bro, I'm not about to fault him for that. That man needs to get up. And this third round, if I remember correctly, was actually when Aljo started pounding on him in a sense, like punching his head off. Yeah. Absolutely, man. So for me, I thought that Aljo did an awesome job right there, and he did what he was supposed to do. When it's on the ground, you could tell Aljo was at home, and Jan looked very uncomfortable. But you could also see when they were on the feet, Jan looked like he was at home. The only thing I fault Jan for was this. I said, man, I thought in the 5th round, he was striking him, and then he took him down. I didn't think that was going to help him out enough, because you can make a case that 2nd and 3rd round were 10-8 solely because he could not get up.
10-9, right?
Yeah, he couldn't get up. It's like, that is bad. That doesn't look good. Whereas Jan, he never had that moment in the 4th or 5th where it's like, oh my God, he got this dude on the ropes. Like, it's looking rough.
No, he just had the advantage.
Right. That was it.
I'm with you.
So that's why for me, I still lean more Aljo in that sense, because I'm like, bro,
because his 2nd and 3rds were more dominant than Jan's 4th and 5th. And then if you're gonna, I'm with you on that first. I'll just take the dude that's hitting. Yeah. Now maybe there's an argument. I was watching this one video who broke down all the hits between the two in the first round. Maybe Jan had one more impactful hit, but in terms of just total volume, it was all in Sterling's favor.
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
And I'll take that. I think just eye test whenever I watched it at the end of it, because whenever I was doing my research on this, there was all this controversial stuff surrounding it. I'm like, wait, how? Because whenever I was done watching the fight, I'm like, I thought Sterling won. Right. And then I went back to trying to figure out what the controversy was all about. It's like, all right, I could see it, but I just feel you got to give it to Sterling.
Now,
I don't think Jan won. If you're gonna split it, give him a draw. But I think Sterling was the right decision. How about Dana White saying?
I know, but Dana's always emotional like that. He'll always say something outlandish, because it's like, okay, you had an issue with that fight, but it was a fight 3 fights ago, same type of situation. He had nothing to say about that. He just he be in his feelings sometimes because he wanted Jan to win as well, and that's fine.
Why was that? Well, just now you have the 3rd fight.
Well, no, in the sense of like Jan is marketability. Jan is like viewed as the boogeyman, or supposed to be like the next mean dude, taps into the Russian market as well, which Dana likes to throw fights abroad. So that's kind of his mindset with it. So it's like, man, I don't mind it. At times it's like, yo, could you be a little bit more like unbiased in those moments? Sure, but Dana's Dana. That's how he is.
Just imagine, man. Roger Goodell.
Right, like seriously, that's
they messed up the Jesse James catch.
Yeah, like that's why I think I'm like, bro, you don't say that. And at the end of the day, it's like, I know you don't handpick these judges, but they're still under your umbrella. Like, if you got that big of an issue, you can either add more judges, you can change, you can ban. You have a lot more control in that situation. But that was why I wasn't a fan of it. But looking at the chat, man, this is an interesting perspective right here. So Stan Clare, he said that even though Sterling, like you said, had more strikes, he didn't cause any damage while holding on to him. No significant damage or anything like that. What were your thoughts in the sense of a guy controlling him, but not having significant damage in the sense of blood, cuts, lumping, and things like that, man?
I leave that more to you, because I don't know what the judges are specifically looking at or what way they lean. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, from my understanding, man, significant strikes matter, but at the same time, ground control matters. And ground control is what Aljo had for 2 whole rounds. And that's where you're literally just keeping a guy on the ground. They can't move. Now, we understand, like, controlling the octagon, that does matter. And that's where you're talking about Jan just constantly going forward. But if he's just going forward and not hitting, how's that a positive? That's the part for me where I always have the disconnect. It's like, just because the guy walking forward, if he's walking forward and punching, cool. He wasn't doing that, though. So
yeah, I thought Sterling won.
Yeah, and I like the submission attempts as well, because he was still trying to get his rear naked. I wish he would have tried a different submission attempt instead of just the same, like, all right, I'm gonna punch, try to rear naked, because it's like, bro, all right, he's not going for it. But that is Aljo's bread and butter. Like, that's how he wins a lot of his fights. He's a rear naked guy. But to me, just as a whole, man, I thought that Aljo did what he needed to do to win the fight. I don't even know if I need to see a rematch. Personally, I'm cool on it, you know? I'm cool, just because it's like, man, Aljo has had to deal with so much negativity. And it's like, the knee, right, and it's like, it ain't like he need himself, you know? But he instantly became the villain because of that. And then it's like he had neck surgery and everything. And now it's like he comes back, he wins this fight, 5 rounds. It's like, I don't want to hear it. It's kind of like we talked about with Kobe and Jorge. Don't give me all that extra after the fight. Don't be tough guy now.
Was terrible.
You had 25 whole minutes. So when I think of Jan, I'm like, I don't want to hear any of this. I'm mad. I don't want to hear any of this. Oh, I smashed. No. You had 25 minutes. When he had you on the ground, you couldn't do anything. Shut it up. Like, that's just my energy with it, man.
Yeah, at least you left it up for interpretation.
Yeah.
And like I said, worst case in Jan's favor would have been a draw. But I do think I'm still leaning Sterling.
Yeah. And Nick Wise says it the best. This is what I learned in boxing early on, and it carries over to UFC as well. Never leave a fight to the judges. Don't leave it to the judges, man. Don't leave it to them, man.
That's what he did.
Simple, man.
Yeah, that's what he did for sure. And I think the judges did it right.
Man, shout out to you, Deke, man. I didn't know what your energy was going to be on that fight right there, because that was the coin flip, man. Like, some people
I think it was Sterling.
thought it was good. Other people were like, no, man, Jan got robbed, man. I can't believe this. And I'm just like, Jan had a chance to be on the ground. I mean, he had a chance to stand up. He ain't knock him out. When Aljo took him to the ground, that man couldn't get up, though.
Yeah, and that's the same exact stuff that we saw from Khabib versus Conor. And I hated it. I hated the style. I'm like, this is so boring, but he's dominating Conor. I guess that's what the judges are going to favor. And that's what I would think.
Like, Deke, imagine if a grown man just holds you in the corner and he's like, yo, shut up. Just sit here and take it. Like it. Like the fact that he's on top and you can't move, Deke. How you feel about that? You feel like you won that fight? No. You going to feel like, yo, this man manhandled me, bro. Like, can I at least get up next time, please? And that's kind of how I looked at this fight. Like, yo, he literally kept that man on the ground. Like, yo, shut up. Sit here. It's cool.
How do you feel about, going back to the first one, the knee? How much do you think of it was him laying on the ground and stuff and be like in pain? Because I thought it was illegal right off the bat, and like Joe Rogan, I think even the announcer said it.
Like,
so
that's illegal.
Why do people think him acting in quotation marks had anything to do with him getting the win? Because
people look at it like it wasn't honorable in the sense of, oh, if you're gonna win a belt, you need to win it by beating the champ. But it's like, if the champ hits you with an illegal move, how are you at fault for that? And it's like, you want this dude to get up and keep fighting, but if he's concussed from getting knee to the head, and when you watched it, it wasn't no soft knee.
Oh, so hold on. That's my question. If he would have got up, they would have continued the fight?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's why it's like, you see the dude on the ground, but it's like, Deke, if you're legit hurt and they're like, yo, you need to get up and fight because the fans want you to fight, but you know you're physically out of it. It's like, what sense does that make? And that was why, like, people have been so pissed off about, oh man, you're an actor.
I understand the controversy now.
Right. But it's like, he didn't knee himself. So
I thought even if he didn't go down and was kind of like in agony and whatnot, they would have just called the fight anyway because it was a legal move.
Well, the referee asked him, he was like, yo, do you want to continue? But he was like, I already doc, like, this is illegal. Like, I'm already, if you can't keep going, this is illegal. It's a DQ. Like, I got this. So that's why I was like, all right. But because to me, like, I've seen, because, and this is the thing. So
I see the controversy.
So it's been fights before where, you know, illegal moves have happened. So like John Jones was fighting a guy, Anthony Smith, and he had hit him. It was like he had him down. He punched him in the back of the head. And in that moment, Anthony could have just been like, you know what? I quit. He hurt me, and win the belt that way. Right. But it was clear that he was not hurt. It was clear that the punch wasn't even as egregious. So that's why when Anthony got it, he was like, nah, bro, I'm good. But at that time, it was like, well, technically that wasn't illegal. It was a legal move. Like, you can't do that. So it'd have been like, yo, it would have sucked, but it was justified. But you could tell he wasn't hurt. Whereas this, when he knees Aljo, you see Aljo instantly do what? Oh, like, he goes down because he knees him in the head. Shoot, Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time. He's fighting in one fighting championships right now. His first time really getting knocked out, which happened like 2 years ago, he was down just like that and got kneed in the face. It's like, bro, that push you out, put you to sleep, man. So that's why for me, I'm just like, I don't feel that type of energy towards Aljo. Like, I don't look at Aljo as a bad guy or a villain because he stayed down. He got kneed in the head. And it's like, you know what you about to get up and keep fighting. And if you're already not clear and you fighting against Jan, it's like, you know what that fight going to be like. So to me, I didn't have an issue with it, man.
And he just proved it.
And he proved it this time, right? And that's my thing. I'm like, if he would have done that and never given him the rematch, totally different. But it's like, bro, y'all just fought for the whole 5 rounds. We got our answer right there. You know?